Hey, all right, so I'm going to show how to make a quiz for constructed response. So you're going to go into Content tab and go to the unit where you want the constructed response, or this is basically a quiz. Okay, so how to make a quiz. You could do multiple choice. A constructed response is a written answer, so either one of those. So I wanted this to go into 1.12, so I'm in Unit 1, and I went down to 1.12 and opened it up, and that's where I am right here. Okay, so I'm going to hit Upload Create, and I'm going to go to New Quiz. Here you're going to enter a title. This is going to be called, I'm going to call it 1.12 Constructed Response. And the reason I'm doing this, we already had a quiz. I already made the Aladdin and the Wonderful Lamp quiz. And when the kids see that name twice, they think, oh, I already did that. So I'm making the constructed response a completely different name, even though it's on Aladdin and the Wonderful Lamp. So here are the instructions, and I've already made this once already, so I'm just going to copy and paste this in. I put the story links in the instructions. So that they know where to find the story. If not, they get lost, even though I've told them 100 times that they can find the story on the class plan. They still get messed up with that. All right, so it says you will be comparing these two stories in this constructed response. And then I am going to, okay, sorry, I had to pause the video. So now I forget what I was saying. All right, so you want to put the story link in there, whatever they're going to use. So to link something into a quiz, or anywhere really, you're always going to use this link button. And I'm going to look for the story. It's easiest to find the stories as a course file because we add the stories in as a file. So I'm going to go here to our first story, which was the story, and these are in alphabetical order. The story of Baba Abdallah. Now once I have it in there, I click it again, hit the link again, and it gives you the option of how it opens up. You want to do a new window so that they can go back and forth between tabs. If it opens up in the same frame, they just lose everything. It's like, now the story's open, but the quiz isn't, and it just is really confusing. So there we go. Now I'm going to do this one. The other story is the Aladdin story. Course file, Aladdin and the Wonderful Lamp. Okay, there's the link. I'm going to click the link, click this again, and put new window. So now it's going to open up in two different tabs. So once I'm done with the instructions, I'm going to hit publish. That's where you need to link it. And then you're going to get this handy dandy page. Okay, there's stuff to do on this page. But to go in to do the quiz, you're going to go to quiz setup. And it's already got the name in. So there's three tabs you want to pay attention to here. And they kind of skip so it's easy. The properties tab, the assessment tab, and the submission view tab. So it's just every other one. So on this tab, what you have to do, you have the title already. You want to put it in the category. This is going to go into Unit 1. And then the only other thing you need here is to add, edit questions. So I'm going to click that to add my question. And you're going to have options. So I'm going to click New. If I were doing just a regular multiple choice quiz, I would go to multiple choice. Because this is a constructed response, I'm going to go to written response question and type in the question. I already saved it because I already made this, so I'm going to go and copy and paste it in. Paste as plain text. All right. Then change the points. Constructed responses are all worth 4 points because we use a 4-point rubric. And then hit save. All right, that's all I'm going to do. If I were going to do more questions for like multiple choice, I would just go hit new again. But because I'm done, I'm going to hit done editing questions. Okay, and that's it for this page. That's all you need to worry about. Then I'm going to go to the assessment. Now I have to create an assessment that will go into the grades tab. So there's multiple things to do here. The first thing is I'm going to add a grade item. And I'm going to call it the same thing that I called the quiz. So it's 1.12 constructed response. And category, I'm going to put this in Unit 1 in my gradebook. And points, and change it to 4. That's all you have to do here. Now you can, I'm going to click, no I'm not, but you could click can exceed if you want to be able to give them extra credit. You would click can exceed. If you want this quiz that you're making to only be bonus points, you would click bonus. If you wanted to exclude it from the final grade calculation, so there's these options. You can also add a rubric. I haven't had a lot of luck with this. I add the rubric in that instruction part, or I add the rubric different places, but so all you really need here is the name, the unit, and the points. So now I have a grade item. Okay. This is super important, this next part. You have 2 boxes here, okay, and you can't check this until after you make the grade item, one of them. But I'm going to put allow automatic export to grades. That means when I grade it, it's going to go into the grade book. If you forget to check this, and you go and grade all your constructed responses, none of the grades will go into the grade book, which is a super pain. So you always wants to check this. This one up here, allow attempt to be set as graded immediately upon completion. You only check this if it's multiple choice. What this does is allow the computer to grade it. But if it's a constructed response, which this is, you have to go in and read it, and you have to go in and put the grade. So I'm not going to check that, but normally you would have both of these checked if you're doing like a multiple choice quiz. Okay. The other thing here is attempts, and this is super important too. All quizzes are allowed 3 attempts. For constructed response, I put unlimited, just because they can, I don't care how many times they want to write the paragraph. They can write a paragraph. Then you want to hit save. Okay, so that's it for that page. You add the grade item, you check your boxes, and you change the attempts and hit save. The other one is submission views. Here you click default view, then you click yes, and then you click show question answers. This allows them to get back to show the previous constructed response. If they want to go back and see what they wrote, they can see it now if you show question answers. I also the first semester do this for the quizzes too, so they can see what they got wrong. It'll show that as well. All right, so that's it. I did my 3 tabs, and that's all I need here. I'm going to hit save and close. Now when you get to this page, you have to do some things here as well. Okay, it's always good to double check this section because now there's an assessment there because I created it. It's just kind of a double check. But there's a few things here. The first one is add dates and restrictions. Okay, and you need to do both. Number 1, you need to add a due date. Never add an end date. Okay, never do that. You can add a start date if you want, if you don't want them to have access to the quiz. Like this is going to be on Tuesday. If I didn't want them to see it on Monday, I could put a start date of Tuesday and I make it at 8:30. So then the kids that show up to my 8:30 class, they all have access to it. But I do that sometimes. I'm not doing it for this one. So I'm going to put this on Tuesday. So I did due date. I'm going to put it on Tuesday, and everything is due at 3:30 p.m. So I'm going to switch that to 3:30. So there's my due dates. Then you always have to set release conditions. And what this does is it makes it, we're going to release this to start date groups so that no students who start later than this will have access to this. Now, because I've already have these in, I would choose browse, but you would, let's just do browse now. When you get a new start date group, I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so because I've used these on quizzes before, they're going to come up. So here's all my start dates that I've already attached to other quizzes, and it kind of remembers it. And that's it. Okay, so those are all my start date groups. Now, the other thing you need to remember, it's super important, right here where it says all conditions must be met, you have to change this to any condition must be met. And that way, if they're in 816, they have access. Or if they're in 827, they have access. If you keep it at all, they would have to be in all these start date groups, and it gets crazy. So you always change that to any. All right, and then I hit update. So now I have my due date, I have my conditions, and I have my assessment. So everything is in there. So now I'm finished. Now to make sure that I always do this to make sure it's right, because I set the due date for September 18th, it should automatically put it on the class plan. So I'm going to go into the plan. And if you're in month view, you can see it easily because there's an extra thing down there. So that means it went there. I'm also going to go into today's plan and hit edit. And now I'm going to link it into the plan here because I hadn't linked it there. I just put like a little placeholder for it. So to link it again, I'm going to hit link, go down to quizzes. In this section, it always throws it to the bottom. And there it is. There it's linked. Now I'm going to click it again, click link, and put it open up in a new window, update, there. All right, so that's how you make a constructed response quiz.